Hey, everybody, and welcome to yet another author talk with Frightreads Book Festival. This is, I guess we're on 3, or maybe we're on 4. I can't count. Sometimes I lose count, but it is what it is. I am just trying to make sure that visibility is there for all. I want to make sure nobody misses anything. Since it is showing that it is live, I want to ensure everyone can watch. Let's see if we can view that post and then share it to the world on the book face. There we are. So as with every week that we do this, please feel free to leave your comments below. We will live answer a lot of questions and answers. It can be about the book festival. It can be about the writing process. It can be whoever the special guest is, about their books in particular, their writing. Or it can be, as simple as what's your favorite dinosaur? So whatever goes, let's have at it. We are going to be bringing in author Kim Pinzon, and she's been at Frightreads a handful of times. You may have seen her somewhere in the aisles. So we're super excited to bring her on board. We're going to talk about some spooky books and some awesome stuff. So everybody, please welcome Kim. Yay! It works. Hi, Kim. How are you doing?
That's always a plus. I'm doing good.
Hey, I need an
Happy
applause
to be
sound
here.
effect to be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So you've done a few fright reads in the past, so we can break the ice and get going at least from that good pivot point. So what how'd you find it,
Yes.
and how's your experience been thus far?
I thought it's a lot of fun. It's always great to get out there and actually meet people that you talk to online or like other authors that you meet on Instagram or threads or whatever, and then you finally get to see them in real life and it's like you already have that bond. So there's none of that awkwardness of like, do I like how do I know this person? How do I introduce myself? You already know them through all of your conversations online. So that's
Yeah,
fun. And then I always love meeting people who come and like they've either read my book before or I've seen them at a different convention. It's just so like as authors, we tend to be solitary people and we don't want to talk to others. But conventions just bring out something really special in us. And we're like, oh, all the people, let's talk to all the people.
yeah. It's definitely a surreal experience, especially when you get to meet authors that you mildly go gaga over yourself. So my little,
Yeah.
I didn't go gaga per se, but I think I was excited to meet Jeff Strand a little more than I should have been. We read his short story, and I was like, my God, I'm in. I need this man at the event. And I met him, and he is just a great guy. So like, not only do you get to meet these like indie authors that are floating around in the world in the ether around us, but sometimes those like out of state, almost out of touch, out of your range authors that are many states over. So it is kind of cool to just meet people in the industry, and then like you said, having people come up and just talk to you about your books, or people that you just, it's almost like a family. You keep seeing a lot of the same attendees
Hmm.
that we all love horror, so we're all going to go to the same stuff. So yeah, it's kind of cool just to see all the same people. And speaking of the same people, I think we already got a comment here from some of the same people. So I had Javier a few weeks ago on, and he says, "Hey guys,
Yep.
hello. You didn't get enough of me at AwesomeCon?" I'm surprised he's physically
Yeah, I
recovered
saw
from
him a few weeks
AwesomeCon.
ago.
Poor, poor fella had a migraine and was not doing so hot on Sunday. So I'm glad he's up and watching videos. So yeah, what event did you catch
Too
him
much
at? The
convention
AuthorCon?
fun.
Oh yeah,
No,
was it
I saw
AuthorCon that
him
he
at
was at?
no, I wound up seeing him at Delco Horror Con. It's closer to Philly.
Okay, okay,
So it's like right
okay.
outside
Yeah,
of
yeah. I remember he
Philadelphia
did
because I
something like
actually
that.
live in Pennsylvania. So it's a little closer to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm right in the middle of all the fun stuff, so everything's too just far enough away from me where it's always a drive. So you did you check out If you're Pennsylvania, did you check out Creature Feature a couple weeks ago?
That was down in Gettysburg. I didn't get a chance to go. I was
Ah, the
working.
old work. Everyone, buy her book so she doesn't have to work anymore.
Yeah, my schedule
You
rotates.
need everybody
So
to buy your book so you don't ever have to work again.
that's what I
That's
keep
it. That's
saying.
it. So buy all of the books. That's the only solution. We have no other solution for this. Um,
That is the ultimate
I
goal.
mean, it's the dream, right? Who wants a day job? I just decided that it'd be also more fun to add in running an entire book festival because I have nothing but time on my hands. I'm like, hey, it'd be fun. You know how all these works in progress that I haven't finished yet? What if I took more of that time and devoted it to running an entire festival? And hey, what if we added a little mini festival in the middle of all that just for fun? So it could be worse.
You must run on energy
I don't
drinks.
actually. So what's funny is I don't drink energy drinks. Um,
Okay.
I think a few years ago I was at Southern Maryland Comic Con, and one of the vendors for Amp Mountain Dew energy drink, they were there. I don't know if they were a sponsor, partnership, what have you, whatever the deal was, and they came by and they were like, would you like an Amp energy drink? I got to get rid of them. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I took that. I could hear colors because I don't drink the energy drink, so I'm not like desensitized to them. I'm not going to drink it and be like kind of awake. I mean, it. Yeah, I was the Flash. I could have probably ran back home with my book in hand. So no, I don't do energy drinks. I don't drink coffee. Like I will. It's not like I'm like, oh, I'm not going to touch that. But like I don't need to drink coffee in the morning. Actually, I'm not sponsored by them at all, but Coca-Cola is. I always tell everybody I got to stop at the gas station and get a liter of cola, and that'll get me through the con. Whatever it is, I just need one big giant bottle of Coke, and I'll get through the convention. But yeah,
If
no, I
you
don't run.
hype it
I
up
don't run
enough,
on
they
that.
might sponsor you.
Maybe that'd be good. Get a giant corporate sponsorship. I highly doubt it though.
Everybody tag Coca-Cola in the video.
Yeah, tell Coke that I would like to be. I want them to pay for my event, so we can get big, giant, awesome celebrities and a massive venue, and just make it an absolute insane time. Not that it already isn't, but to go even bigger, that's the dream. And then maybe if that happens, I can probably find some time to write some books and do everything else in my life.
You'll have assistants to run everything for you, and then you'll get to just sit in your little writing cave and just send them tasks while you're
Oh, that would be
writing.
so nice. I would love to sit in my little cave and just delegate. Yeah, if anybody's ever seen Fright Reads in action, they know that I am the least delegatey person. You will see me. I am hopped up on pain meds and Coca-Cola, and I am doing laps around the building. And I'm very afraid for this.
Literally
Yeah,
everywhere.
you'll look up and be like, "There's Harry. There's Harry. There's Harry." And this year really
Like the
frightens me,
Flash, just
just
round and
nonstop.
around.
Yeah, this year frightens me because it's because the building is 5 times the size, and I'm like, I got to get Heelys. I'm gonna have to get a
Okay.
scooter, maybe a Segway. I'm not gonna make it. I think I'm gonna get run down to the end and just be completely gassed, and that's where I live for at least an hour. So yeah, it's
But you
I'm like
might
I'm a
not be
little worried.
round anymore then.
No, that would be ideal. That would be ideal. I gotta says the guy that just bought a whole bunch of different flavored peeps. So yeah, that's I saw
Yeah,
Dr.
it's
Pepper Peeps.
Easter.
Dude, I saw Dr. Pepper Peeps. Yeah,
Do they taste like
but
Dr. Pepper?
but you didn't go ew. You went, huh? I'm interested.
Intriguing.
They don't taste like Peeps. I don't think they taste fully like
Okay.
Dr. Pepper, but they taste close enough that I'm like, the Dr. Pepper's there. I can taste that. Yeah, there's a flavor there. Um,
Right, not the worst thing in the world.
it's not. It's not. I saw there was a fruit punch one. I'm interested. I did have the sour watermelon,
Okay.
which was really weird. That one just makes your mouth
I feel
water a
like that
lot.
would be good.
Yeah, it was, but it was just like this just like made your mouth really watery, and you were just like the whole time you're eating it, and it was just like extra gross. But yeah, I'm a sucker for weird flavors of stuff. Like I've tried I think my favorite, I was actually telling somebody about it today. Um the different Oreo flavors where they have like birthday cake,
Okay.
and there was one that had peanut butter in the middle of it before. My favorite one was the cookies and cream flavored Oreo. And I was like, wow, Oreo flavored Oreo.
How inventive.
We have come full circle. The Oreos have become themselves. So yeah, what a world, right?
Perfect.
So what what exactly do you bring to the table when you come to Fright Reads? What kind of writing do we got? I know you do a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, I can't just pick one thing to write about. The ADHD doesn't really let me focus that way. It's kind of like
Welcome to the club.
whatever interests me at that moment is what I'm writing about. And the amount of works in progress that I have sitting there, like I can't even like I have a filing cabinet, and both files are just full
Oh
of
boy.
just printouts and handwritten notes and stuff. But right now, what I actually have is my nonfiction. I have a cozy science fiction, a short story horror collection, and I just finished my futuristic crime thriller. So
So
this
you
is
are all
one
over
of
the place.
everything at this point.
You, that's a so I like you said it was cozy sci-fi.
Yeah.
So
So
like
I
Agatha
was originally
Christie,
telling
like
people it
cozy
was kind
mystery. So like a cozy
yeah,
mystery, but
like
with outer space. Okay.
yeah. So there's some robots, there's some planet jumping and stuff.
Okay.
I was originally telling people it was like a young adult science fiction, but then people were kind of like, "Meh, I don't want the young adult." So I was talking to my sister, who is also my manager. She was there with me last time. She runs around and gives people my business card and sends them to the table. So I pay her in food.
I
But
That's
she was
also a
like,
form of currency for me.
yeah, but she was like, just call it a cozy science fiction. I was like, all right. I mean, that's kind of what it is. It's really not scary. It's not like super high stakes, but
Okay.
it's still science fiction. So
Cozy science fiction. Well, I guess Javier
yeah,
congratulated you on all of your works in progress or your
thank
few
you.
books that are
Yeah.
out all over the place. I'm not sure what, but congratulations on whatever front.
It'll
Um,
be even better once I actually get them worked out and out of the filing cabinet.
right? And when you said you had a filing cabinet full, I'm like, a filing cabinet? Oh my God, that'd be a dangerous way to do it because I have one that I'm actively trying to get done before Fright Reads in the fall.
Okay.
So aside from that, I have no less than 12 or 13 works in progress that are anywhere from one chapter to halfway or more. And they just sit there. So I was like, oh my God, if I had a filing cabinet, and then that's not including ideas. And if I started doing like notes alongside of them, I you would be looking at filing cabinets behind me. So yeah, I couldn't do that. Everything for me is digital. I have no physical footprint. Um, that's insane. What a way to keep track of it. Yeah,
I'm
that's
scared to
cool.
leave it on the computer though, because my computers tend to like to kill themselves.
True.
So I'm always backing everything up
Yeah,
and
yeah.
printing it and just writing stuff down because it just being a millennial and growing up with computers, you would think I would like them more and trust them more. But I think
No, that
Terminator
gives us
really
the
had a
distrust.
strong influence on my life.
Yeah, that's the distrust. We grew up and we know what it is. We've all
Yes.
downloaded In the End by Linkin Park .mp3.exe, and we know what happens. It was either that or Rolling. I'm just saying, Rolling by Linkin Park.
Oh
Those are the two
my god.
files that killed your family's computer. You had to be like, Mom, Dad. So
Yeah.
anyway, I got a cool song. However, yeah, we came from that level of volatile computing. So yeah, there's a severe distrust, and not that we're scared of the technology. We know what we've done to it and what can happen. So yeah. So there's that.
Yeah, we know what it's
We know
capable
what
of.
we're capable of. We have broken computers. We've broken them in such a way that you're just like, well, I guess that's it. I can't do more homework. This is it.
It was a good run.
Um, so I do so I went to school for digital forensics, and most of my knowledge of like the
Okay.
Windows infrastructure is because of my time on the Lime Wires and Napsters back in the day. Because of my time there and like fix it. I know the entire infrastructure of Windows XP, Windows 98. I know the entire file structure because I had to go find what broke. So yeah, we did some
Before
things
I
back
get in
in the
trouble.
yeah, we did some things back in the day. But yeah, I do a backup of it. I have a cloud backup. I actually have an external hard drive that I back it up
Yep.
to. I have a Google Drive that it goes out to, but I don't have the paper because I feel like if it got deleted and it's gone and I'm, 50, 60, 70,000 words in, I'm going to look at this stack of 8.5 by 11 papers and go, I guess I didn't need that book. I'm not, I'm not retyping any of this. I guess I don't need that book. We've gone too far. Yeah, that's
I don't know.
method.
I guess don't they have a program or a printer now where you can scan it in and it'll take the words off and put them into a Word document for you?
Too much
Or am
work.
I making this up?
No, there are things, but that already sounds like too much work, and then I have to double check that it recognized the right words and the right everything. Nope, I just that it was going to be a great book. I bet it was going to be the international
It's dead now,
bestseller.
though.
It's the one that you would never have to work ever again, and you could go writing full time. Well, doesn't matter. We had a good run.
Not anymore.
No, it's gone forever. But yeah, so you write
Oh
all these
my.
different genres. I know what it's like to be all over the place as well because I do everything. I'm writing like
Hmm.
horror, then I have like the science. My favorite pitch is for my sci-fi book. It is a science fiction action adventure horror thriller military uh book. So it's 47 categories. And I'm like, I
Every
don't know where I
genre.
am. It's horror, it's sci-fi, it's a military action. Like, where does it fit in? I don't know. It's all of it. It's maybe a romance. I don't know. We'll put it
Everywhere.
everywhere. Erotica, probably. I don't know if you're into that.
I was gonna say you got to add some romance in
I'll
there
put
now.
erotica, like hard, just smut. There's like a whole chapter of just hard smut with two creatures, maybe. I don't know. I have to write that in just to make it happen. I want to get
Some
everybody.
cyborg erotica.
Oh, cyborg erotica. Yeah, so I'm just as all over the place, and if it's anything like me and author Brian Paoni, who said the same thing a few weeks ago, we write what we like to read. Do you write
Mhm.
what's popular, or do you write what you'd actually sit down and read?
I write what I would sit down and read because I don't know who said the quote. It might have been Stephen King. It might have been somebody else. I don't know. But they said basically, write what you would want to read. Don't worry about what everybody else wants to read. Don't worry about what's popular. What do you want to read? Because you want to put out something that's individual
Yep.
to you. And that's kind of how I've just been taking it since then. And I'm like, if nobody else reads this, I wrote it. I enjoy it. I'll put it on my shelf and be like, look what I did. So that's been my
Yeah,
my viewpoint on it.
I mean, that's a good way to do it because I've seen so many people that are like, they stress out about what people want to read, and every author goes through that too. no matter what. You're like, is anybody going to like
Hmm.
this, or is it literally just me? But it's never just
Yeah.
you. But you don't know that when you're writing it, and then you're like, oh man, should I? I'm writing this book about werewolves and vampires. Should I just make this Twilight? That made a lot of money. But
Yeah.
then you have this alternate story that you've created on your own that ends up, at least for you, it's something you're proud of, although it's not multi-movie deal Twilight. But it's close enough.
There
It
can
at
only
least
be
feels good
one
to you.
Twilight.
Thank goodness for that. We don't need more. But yeah, like, but it's kind of funny because you meet a lot of authors, and I think everybody has to feel the same way. Write what you like to read. And I know that there's a lot of people that write for
Hmm.
shock value. Do you like that level of just like blah? Or is this just because you're just like, yeah, somebody's gonna eat this up. They're gonna like this. Um, I'm always wondering about that. Like, are you writing this for the sheer shock value that people will buy it to share to their friend, to share to their friend? Because they're like, dude, you gotta read this book. It's so messed up. Is that,
like,
or do
like
you
some of those
really like,
gross
are you into
videos.
this? Yeah, yeah. It's like just the rabbit hole you can go down online of watching some weird crap. And you're like, hey, you gotta watch this. Yeah, I share people dumb memes all day. That's if it comes across, I'm like, especially if it involves
Hmm.
farts or pooping, I'm like, Ryan, look. So yeah, he gets those all bestowed to him. I'm like, Ryan, look, and he's like,
Yeah,
what was it? One of them,
there's
it was
some.
yeah, it was some bad one that I shared to him, and I think all he wrote back was, "It be like that sometimes." And I'm like, I guess there's no valid reaction to have. Just that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people who will just get it, and there's some extreme horror books that I've read, and I absolutely love them. And I sit there and I question,
Yeah,
like, me as a person, like, what kind of person am I that I found this to be entertaining, and like I'm gonna go recommend this to people? I could never write it. I feel like it might be fun to write it, but I don't think I would enjoy it enough to make a whole book out of it. But I like that
sure.
there are some people who do it, and if there's like 3 books that I would recommend, and then there's some that I would be like, I absolutely am like disgusted with myself that I even attempted to read this.
Well, what's one that you would actually recommend?
Um, Motel Sticks. I picked it up
Motel
on
Six.
Kindle Unlimited. And
Okay.
basically, it's a future world where necrophilia is legal and you can donate your body in your will to these hotels where basically people have sex with your dead body.
Okay.
And this husband whose wife died, she donated her body and he's on a mission to recover her body because he doesn't want it to go there.
Sure.
And it is wild. And then by the time you get to the end, you're like, no, is anything that I believe real? Like, where was this book took me somewhere I did not think I was going to end up at? And it's great. Like there is definitely shock value, but then by the end, you're like, damn, nobody is who I thought they were.
See, and my brain is so desensitized to everything. You said in a world where necrophilia is legal. I'm like, well, necrophilia is legal until you get caught. Like that's where my brain automatically went. So I'm like, I'm just like,
You're halfway there
sure.
already.
And then you were like, oh, they have hotels and establishments. Oh, okay. So it's a public thing now. It's a business. It's
Yeah.
monetized.
It's
Got
like
it.
legalized prostitution, but with dead people.
Yeah, yeah. Except the only way that they know to do it is starfishing. Oh no, too soon. Aw, she was only dead for
We've
several
gotten
days.
there.
So so then that poses a lot of questions. Hello everyone, welcome to the necrophilia discussion. If anybody leaves comments on this topic, you will be on a watch list, I'm sure. But like, how does it get explained in the book? how long do they work for? I'm going to use that term. There we go. How long do they work for
Yeah.
until they are no longer employed? Do they have a shelf life? Are the rooms like really, really, really cold? Like these are, like I said, you're like, oh, it's such a weird book, and then I'm like, are the rooms refrigerated? Do they have ventilation? Are there like a bunch of like
Yep.
those little pine tree things hung up everywhere to like?
They go into a lot of the specifics about how they make these places run, like how
Okay,
long the bodies can sit and how long they have to refrigerate them. And like some people like the fresher bodies, and some people want the bodies that have been around for a little while.
yeah, that
So,
checks out. Okay,
I
because
mean, it's not surprising like that
yeah,
someone went in. This is such a like it's not surprising that someone came up with this, but it surprised me how well it was done.
they thought a lot about everything. That's the
Yes.
scary part. They were like, well, obviously they need to be refrigerated, and we have to have the rooms like air freshened and pleasant. Yeah, yeah, a lot of thought has to go into it. Like, well, if I had a motel, uh yeah, that's and what's one of the ones that you're not, so that's the one that you were proud of to discuss. What's one that you're like, I don't want anybody to know that I touched this book?
Yes.
What's a deep cut that you were embarrassed to have in your possession because it was just that rough?
So this one will probably be an unpopular opinion because I know a lot of people really like him, but Aaron Beauregard's Playground, I just
I was going to go with Womb,
it,
but Playground is
I
I don't think
love
that is Womb.
Womb.
I was gonna say Womb would be up there in the like, oh, okay, nobody look at what I'm reading. Because then you're gonna Google it and be like, what's wrong with you? But Playground is kind of right up there. Yeah, I think those are the two gnarliest books on the market outside of have you read anything by Bridget Nelson?
No.
Well, when you get to Fright Reads, go grab any of her books, really. But
Okay.
Red Inside is a book where spiders live inside of people, and I think that's the there you go, there it is. Yeah, enjoy that one because oh, there you go. Here's Javier's reaction to, I assume, the necrophilia. It's looks like a very sick man. Um,
Oh
followed by
no.
I have so many questions. All right, Javier, but do you want them answered? I don't think you want them
you,
answered.
you could get them
No.
answered if you read the book.
Yeah, but do you want them answered? No. No. Just let it be. Let it just fade into the ether. But Bridget writes some really good splatter punk. Trying to think of people that write some like those are the two names though. Aaron and Duncan are the two that write just probably the if you're just like shock value to a friend, you're like, oh, I gotta get you something weird, something that's messed up. You reach for those two. So yeah, definitely. But that's not you would
If
you
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 want them to
couldn't
say,
have
I
the
will
right
never
event.
trust a recommendation from you again.
Yeah, see, I try to warn people because I have the paperback copy of American Psycho, and people are like, oh man, I love American Psycho, and I'm like, do you love the movie or the book? Because it's two
Because
different.
they're
Well,
different.
they're two different. They're the same, very much the same. They did a very good adaptation, but they left out a few scenes. Do you like the book or do you like the movie? So like it's a messed up book and I love it. It's the stuff that I enjoy. Like I have the novelizations of Dexter. So those are fairly on par with
Okay.
the TV show. They did a good job with the show. Um the vibe was there, the characters were pretty good. A couple of things changed, but nothing too drastic where it was a different vibe. But for what it is, I mean, it's a dude killing somebody every episode. Um, that's 100% the book. It's just the guy killing somebody every few chapters. Um, and they go into some descriptions, but
I mean,
not like
that's what we're
Aaron.
there for.
Yeah, I was say, but not like Aaron and them, or the motel sex book where they all bang the dead bodies. Probably not that level of detail.
But if you want one that goes into really gnarly detail about something like that, Dead Inside is also another one that involves necrophilia. And the lady
I
who
feel like
likes
I
to
know
pretend
that one.
that she's having sex with dead people.
I'm literally looking it up.
The
Is that Chandler
cover's really
Morrison?
pretty.
Yeah, is it Chandler Morrison? Is that
Maybe
who it is?
the cover that I have is a skeleton on the front with like lots of pretty
Yeah,
colors.
it's a young hospital security guard with a disturbingly unique taste in women, and a maternity doctor with a horrifically unusual appetite. When the two of them meet, they embark on a journey of self-discovery while shattering societal norms and engaging in destructively abhorrent behavior. Okay.
That's
Okay.
another one where I'm like, all right, I have to be very careful about who I recommend this book to because this book is messed up. It's not.
I mean, review wise, it looks like it's doing pretty well. And the second Google search thing is a Reddit thread. If you have a Reddit thread, you're doing it right. If you have a bunch of people going, I just need to talk to random strangers about this book, but anonymously. That's the goal we all want to be at. We want to be able to Google ourselves and see a Reddit thread of what the hell did I just read? And then your book is listed.
Yes.
So
Goals. Except I can't write that kind of. I would have to do it under a different name so my mother couldn't find it.
mom will always find it. She will figure it out.
She's already concerned about what I write.
So I'm the exact opposite. My mom actually wants a sequel of my serial killer book. She's like, I need more. I enjoyed all of these
Okay.
murders. And I was like, yes, that's a phrase. You could have said I enjoyed the writing. The storytelling was wonderful. I enjoyed the murders. I enjoyed the murder.
And but it's good praise. It means that you wrote the murder scenes really
Yeah,
well. More
the one with
murder.
the clothing hook, that was pretty good. The coat hanger was a pretty good kill.
Hook or the coat hanger?
Yeah, well, it was a combination of a lot of things into like a mousetrap esque device. Um, this Rube Goldberg machine that was created by the killer. It really isn't that elaborate, but it was kind of like a combination of a slippery floor mixed with a rope and a coat hanger that was like hooked onto something else, and then the person was like eventually choked and additionally decapitated because of the other pieces of the device that were
Okay.
implemented. But yeah, like and she loved it. She's like, I like this. And I was like, so you like my Rube Goldberg murder machine chapter? Okay. Which I thought was just stupid. I was like, this is such an unbelievable kill. Like this is a Simpsons level kill. Like this only happens in the Simpsons universe where everything goes wrong and Homer has it happen to him. This is like sideshow Bob
And that's what makes it great.
stepping on rakes. It's Sideshow Bob stepping on rakes. It's Homer going over Springfield Gorge level of just like, what? But it is a satisfying chapter. But yeah, like, but she wants more of it. So she's not actually like, ew, my son writes these awful, awful stories. She's like, my son needs to write me more awful, awful stories so I can keep reading them. So your mom needs to be
I
more
mean,
supportive of stuff
hey,
like dead bodies in a
She
hotel.
supports me. She's just like she's just concerned about where it comes from. But then on the same token, we'll go out places and she will say the most unhinged stuff. Like we were out looking at fall foliage because we get really nice trees up here.
Yeah.
And she goes, I like the trees that look like they're on fire. And we're just like, what? Why would you say that? How about I like the pretty colors? I like the red on the trees. No, I like the trees that look like they're on fire. Okay. But I'm the
It's a
concerning
mom
one.
thing. It's a mom thing because my mother-in-law looked dead at my wife and said, "You could be a serial killer." It's like, why would you say A, don't don't poke the bear, and B, who says that just on a whim? Like, you could be a serial killer. Yeah, so moms are weird sometimes when they say stuff like that. Um, we actually have, other than comments and disgusted faces and stuff, Javier is chiming in here with a question. He says, speaking of liking murders, he has a question. He was curious about the lore around your book.
So the dance is one of my short stories in my creeping shadows. And basically it's this girl. The inspiration for the story came from the dancing sickness that happened in like the 1300s in an Eastern European
Mhm.
country, where people basically drank water or ate something that had a fungus that made them go crazy, and they basically danced themselves to death. And I was like, well, what if instead of it being something that they ingested, it was a demon who came to their town and basically, for just his own enjoyment, made them dance themselves to death? And that's where that character came from. And I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but Teufel or Teufel is a German word for demon, because my story takes place in like one of those Germany type of places, and
Like
I
a
kind of
German village
intermix.
somewhere.
Yeah, and I centered it around the time where like they're kind of moving out of those old legends and folklore and stuff and engaging with Christianity and Catholicism. So the
Okay.
main characters are actually like, no, you can't talk about grandma and her spell book because that's devil worship. You have to follow
That's
the
the
new
devil.
God, but the new God isn't the one who helps her, it's her grandmother's spell book. So
Don't you follow that
yeah,
devil, Bobby
that's where
Boucher.
that all comes from.
Yeah, that's
Mama
pretty cool.
said,
My mama said that I can follow grandmama's spell book. Yeah, so like, and I love that you pull in that's a story that I have heard, and it's so wild that these people just literally danced to death. Like there were people that were unaffected that were like, please stop, and they just kept, you're just hearing the Renaissance fair music, and they're just dancing and having the time of their lives until they died. They didn't, and it's not that they danced
yeah,
to death. They danced because they starved and dehydrated. That was, you don't dance to death, but your body does shut down entirely because you're burning all the calories, you're sweating it all out,
yeah, you're not getting
and it's like
anything.
the real story is just so wild. But to add in a demonic presence that's controlling them, um I would have said it in the 1980s, and then the men without hats are actually the devil, and then they make them do the safety dance until they die. But then they are, but because but they do give them the option that you can dance if you want to. They didn't have an option then.
No. It
So
actually
yeah, that's
is in the collection. That's one of three stories that are connected. And I keep
okay.
thinking about expanding that little universe because I like the characters a lot. But again,
Okay.
that's one of those works in progress. I got to sit down and actually flesh it out because now we're covering from the 1300s, and the final story is all the way at the present day. So it's a lot of time to cover, and I'm obviously not going to
Yeah.
do all of it.
What? All of it. You just got to buy a new filing cabinet.
Yeah, just keep stacking them up. Get more cabinets, more bookshelves. Here we go. In you go. File that away. That'll happen in another
Just keep
20
it going.
years.
Just keep
Yeah.
it growing. It's fine. One day you'll get there. One day you'll finish it. Today's not that day, but
Yeah.
one day. Yeah. So I did pull one of your books out to discuss. I figure it would be a good closing discussion, more or less. So I'm gonna change this whole screen and watch it
Okay.
get all goofed up. Hey, and it mostly worked except the bird's in the way, but that's okay. You can still see all the words. So this was a
Yeah.
nonfiction. Okay, so we talked about bodies in a motel that were used for unsavory acts. We've talked about all kinds of murdery things. So all those women that were shoved into these hotel rooms, you wrote a nonfiction that is as the book says, a relaxed exploration of women's place in horror movies. That's why I was like, I'm gonna have to give a little bit of space between talking about all the women that signed up their bodies to be used in the hotel, and this more or less, I'm gonna be as bold to say a more or less empowerment type of angle being taken. So let's leave some distance between necrophilia and women's place in horror movies.
Yep. So this basically came from I read an article that said that horror was misogynistic and it was a horrible genre for women and women shouldn't watch it. And I was kind of like, well, like I don't really
Have
agree
they
with this
ever
because
seen Teeth?
right, like Teeth, or like I grew up with my very first horror movie was Alien with Ellen Ripley, which I watched way too young and was very traumatized by. I
Who
spent
wasn't?
years, like every little twinge in my chest, I was like, oh my God, did I accidentally like get an alien in my chest? I was a very,
Well,
very minded child.
if it was during the day, you're fine because they mostly come at night. Mostly.
Mostly.
I met her and she's a wonderful person, by the way.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah,
Probably
she's like
not
an English
now.
teacher or something.
Oh, but yeah, so that's where I got the inspiration for this. And I was like, well, I don't really agree. So I went and over 3 years just did a whole bunch of research and condensed it into this. And like if you look at the back, you can see the pages of research that I cited and all the movies that I watched. There's a list of like 100 or something movies in the back that I reference in the book,
Okay.
and that I watched, which was a lot, very time consuming. Teeth is referenced in this.
I was gonna
Even
say the first one, like before you're like, there's no women in the yeah, I'm gonna throw horror and I'm gonna throw Teeth right at you. Like you're gonna
yep.
say there's no women, like powerful women in horror. I believe she holds all the cards, among other
She doesn't
things.
realize it yet, but she does.
But among other things that she had the deck was stacked in her favor. And that's also kind of like it's a little bit more deviated, but Jennifer's Body. Another one is Carrie.
Yes.
Carrie is the victim in the beginning, but it's all building
Mhm.
up to her just losing her shit. And if you follow not Carrie, the movie where it just abruptly ends after she gets pig's blood and everybody explodes, if you follow, I think it was the newer one with Chloe Grace, where
Yep.
they did the rest of the story, where she's
Mhm.
just in the town, just like bam, 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 everybody's getting it. Um,
Yep.
she's just finally tired of being bullied and pushed around, and literally everybody's picking on her, and even the guy that she thought was into her, which I think he sort of felt remorseful, but it didn't matter. He got
Well, you gotta
vaporized
go
too.
too.
Yeah, you got vaporized too. Like he was like, I'm sorry, whatever. Um, that's a I think that would lump into that category as well, just for that. So to say that it's if you're looking at it surface level, yes, women are definitely used as a springboard plot device. They're the they're either the sexual icon that has to be naked or mostly naked 80 to 100% of the film. They
Mhm.
are the crux of the, don't do drugs, don't have sex. So you have that, or they really are just there for the eye candy and a good chunk of like lowbrow slashers. But
Yeah.
then you get into like you actually start analyzing it, and like, and that's the surface level. That's the initial like, yeah, they treat the girls bad. Um, but
When you
analyze
really look at it,
Friday the
you
13th.
don't
Look at
right.
it.
You don't
You
have
have the,
horror
as
without
you
these
said, the
women there.
final girl. The final girl is the strongest one, and it's
Yep.
usually starting off. It's probably the quietest person on the lot. Um, they're the person that kind of keeps themselves together. That's the quiet one that you have to be concerned about because that's going to be the one to take out the big bad guy. But then you look at Friday the 13th. Well, let's even talk about the killer, Mama
Mhm.
Voorhees. That's a strong, powerful woman. In some cases, too
Love a
strong for
female
that.
villain.
But yeah, and you don't get that too often. You had it touched on even in Scream. They went down that route, but Scream's also trying to pick fun at those movies while
Hmm.
trying to be its own thing. So yeah, you don't take into account literally, as your book says, the final girl. Doesn't matter what it is because your Jamie Lee Curtis is a powerful character.
Hmm.
Regardless what we think about the 72 films that have come out since first Halloween, she's never really been the damsel in distress. Like her first instinct, and I'm only talking about Halloween 1. Her first instinct was to get the kids to be safe so
Yeah.
that she could like throw hands with Michael Myers. Like the first thing that she does when I mean, everybody else got bumped off, but when she finally encounters him, she shoves a coat hook, just a metal
Straight into
hanger right
his
through his
face.
eyeball, not just at his face and hitting the rubber, right through the William Shatner eye socket that they enlarged so they wouldn't get sued for it being William Shatner. Um, right into his eye socket. And then rushed him through the closet to get out of there. And then I think literally the follow up moment is Dr. Loomis coming in and putting holes in him
Yes.
multiple times. And then you always have to double tap, but they never do. But that's just me. But yeah, at no point in time is she this like dainty, useless female character. She's very Ellen Ripley esque.
Yeah,
That's just
I
how
think
I see
they
it.
I think people like to kind of underplay women's role in like taking out the bad guy because they want horror. They don't like the genre. They want horror to be perceived as bad. And if you really look at the genres, regardless of the trauma that they're going through, because that's a whole different thing. Like nobody talks about the trauma that they're going to suffer at the end of this. Although in some of the more recent like Halloween movies, they talk about like how she's traumatized and how she's reacted to that.
Yeah.
But even taking that out, they tend to be the ones making the decisions and moving the plot forward and just doing what needs to be done. And you don't have these movies if you don't have women in them, even if they're being objectified or subjected to torture or whatever, and it's very male gazy. You know, that's also looking at stuff from 20, 30 years past. If you're looking at a lot of the stuff now, it's even like some men will frame their movies under the female gaze. Like I always point out Mike Flanagan for that. He's great at
Yeah.
doing that. Like he took Gerald's Game, which could very easily have been male gaze, sexually objectifying. I don't remember what her name
What,
is,
what a weird
but
book and movie.
right. And he did wonders with it to make her seem less of a victim and more the person who triumphs in the film despite everything that happened to
Yeah.
her. I didn't like the book. The book
Yeah.
I used to be a huge Stephen King fan, and I know people will probably blow shade for this, but I'm not a huge fan of him anymore. Because he doesn't see I don't think personally based on his writing he likes children or women. That's just
Or
me.
animals.
But
Or animals.
or animals. Yeah, I mean, I still have a collection of like my favorites from him, like The Girl Who Loved
Yeah.
Tom Gordon, The Shining, Shawshank Redemption. But I stopped collecting his books. I don't think I've even read any of his recent stuff. But
Well,
I just
sometimes he
thought
gets
Mike Flanagan
books.
does a great job.
he did a great job turning that around. But I think Stephen King just gets lumped
Mhm.
into this untouchable category, and I wish more people would touch it. And like, because people are like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I was at Awesome Con, and somebody told me that they had their 11, 12-year old, it's a blur, this 11 or 12-year-old daughter read what was it, read The Shining and It, and I was like, The Shining, maybe.
Mm,
The Shining's fine. I mean, there's some stuff in there, but it's not stuff. Because if anybody's read
it's
It,
not it
there is,
level.
well, it has a chapter that is completely excluded from any live action adaptation for good reason, because it's called child porn.
Yeah.
So
I I I spoke with someone who actually wrote an essay about that specific scene in the book because she was framing it from Beverly's experience. Because I'm like,
sure,
it's why do you need to have this child orgy with these
yeah,
literal children in your book? And she was basically talking about how it's Beverly taking her power back because her father's always trying to infantilize her and prevent her from doing things on her own to become a woman. Because I think she's also the oldest out of all of them.
yeah, yeah.
And she was like, this was a way for her to connect with friends. And I'm like, I guess I
I
can see
mean,
where
it's
you're
a
coming
way to
from, but
connect with
I
your
also
friend.
don't really think it was necessary for this book.
No, I mean, it's a way to
Yeah,
connect with your friends.
there's,
It's not the
there's
right
lots of
way,
other ways we
but
could have shown
it's a way.
friendship. No.
Y'all get the Nintendo out, and I don't know. Depends on which iteration of It. I guess they didn't have a Nintendo when he originally wrote it, but pull out a Nintendo, play some Mario Kart against each other. I don't know what to tell you, but a
Yeah.
gangbang, probably not my recommendation. But yeah, she was just
No,
like, yeah, my daughter
not
reads
for
that, and she
kids.
was asking about mine. And I always question, because my short horror stories span around uh very okay topics to probably not meant for certain audiences topics. And I was like, well, where is she at in where does she read? Oh, she read It. Oh yeah, shit, my books are here. She already read an orgy with a bunch of kids.
Mine are
Here, have
tame
this book.
compared to that.
Have this book where one of them smokes the devil's lettuce for like 3 paragraphs. Um, Here, have that, because that's my little warning, is like, it's drug use and uses the F bomb, and then they're like, yeah, they read It, and I was like, oh yeah, here, all yours, knock yourself out, take two. Um, but yeah, it's wild, and he gets. So what's fun is, I don't know if you saw some of the guest authors that we had, but we have 2 authors that wrote The Science of Stephen King, and I can't wait for their panel,
Okay.
because they will talk about some of the topics that they get into in their book, and they break down stories like It, The Shining, and so on. And these I'm going to say beloved stories. Like, see, I like the parodies of the stories more than the stories, and I think that makes me like the originals more, because I'm a huge fan of the Treehouse of Horror by The Simpsons. So when
Hmm.
Willie's in there doing the shinnin', it makes me appreciate The Shining even more. I don't know why. He's like, he's got the shinin', and I'm just like, oh my god, I love The Shining. But I like The Shining, or do I like The Simpsons making fun of it, and that just kind of fuels my love for The Shining. But I did like Doctor Sleep. I think Doctor Sleep was a very well done book and movie.
I haven't gotten to that one.
Oh well, it's about a
It's on the
doctor and
list.
they sleep. Not going to spoil it, but it is a full on sequel. Whatever, 30, 40 years later, however many years later, um, Danny is a grown adult and still has a bit of his shine, but he's repressing it. And then something happens to kind of just ramp it up, and he has to like learn to control his shine. And then it turns out that he meets a girl that also has the shine. And then a group of people who kill people that have that power. So, and then they take that power so they can live forever. And that's more or less the plot
Okay.
device put into play. I will say, like, if you're it, the book as a whole, you're not going to be like, I don't know if I want to talk to people about that. It's one of those okay to talk about books. Um, they're not banging corpses at a hotel, but there is a scene that involves a character named Baseball Boy, and it. You know how Stephen King is with kids. You said it, like, why does he hate kids? Boy, does this kid get it
Yep.
in the worst way possible. And the power is only enhanced by the level of their fear. So the more scared you are of what's going on, the stronger your essence is.
Oh.
Woo boy! And watching that scene, so the same actor was in a movie called Good Boys. It was a Seth Rogen movie about three friends in the '90s or something growing up. And I immediately, like, he looks like childhood photos of me, and I was like, that's my son. And I was like, I don't know, man, that could be my son. And I just kept making jokes. Well, then I see that scene, and I'm just like, my son, I'm coming, my boy,
My child.
my child. Apparently, that is a favorite book.
I think I've seen that. Doctor Sleep, maybe.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the story more or less, but
Well, I guess I'll just have
Obi-Wan
to read it
Kenobi does a
now.
really good job. Obi-Wan does a good job of having powers that he can control things with his hand and mind. It's almost like he did that in a different movie. So Ewan McGregor's fantastic in that. Actually, the entire cast, everybody that plays a character, I don't think there was anybody that was a bad actor in there. Like Javier said, it is one of my,
Okay.
if I had to say, like, especially movie adaptations, it's one of the few that they get right. And my favorite thing about it is because it ties in with The Shining. Stephen King had the wherewithal, because you know how he hates the Kubrick version, the atrocity that steers the book so far away from the source material, and he's just like, anyway, what if I did my own thing? I'm Stanley Kubrick. I do what I want. So what if so when he wrote his book, the book Dr. Sleep is in line with the book for The Shining. Like, all the events and things line up. What I think Stephen King came to terms with is everybody's visual representation of The Shining is the Kubrick version, not the made for TV version from the 90s. So he met in the middle, and the crux of the story at the end matches a lot of the visuals for the Jack Nicholson iteration with the Kubrick film. So I really like that he was just like, fine, all right, you guys win, okay.
He's just
hate his
accepted it now.
but yeah, I mean, dude, you're making money off of it. Shut up. But yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
agree. He's good, but he also shouldn't get a free pass because he cranks out a book every other month. They start to become fairly formulaic,
Yeah.
and I mean, anything will become formulaic
That's
if
my
you're making them.
argument too.
But
I mean, how
I
many
know
books
Mike
do you have
Flanagan
where the
does the
main character
movie.
is an author?
Yeah, he's like, Mike Flanagan does the movie. We discussed that. But yeah, like, I don't know. He's kind of overrated, but I'm glad that we called to light a couple of authors that do some really messed up books, like Playground and whatever that weird necrophilia one was. But yeah, like,
Motel Sticks.
oh man, Motel Sticks. If anybody's looking for a messed up book, that'll be the book club suggestion. I'm like, Motel Sticks. Nobody. All right.
Like,
Well,
it's a lovely story about a husband trying to find his wife after death, and trying to get reunited. It's beautiful.
yeah. Like, but so then you get into this weird gray area where if somebody's final wishes are to be donated to science or to be cremated or what have you, be made into a tree, get made into a walnut tree so everybody can eat your nuts in your death. Whatever you have described for your final resting place, isn't it kind of selfish of the husband to not respect her? Like, you start going down that road of like, I'm not making you a tree,
Yep.
grandma. You're going to get buried in a box so we can visit you. That kind of thing. It becomes that selfish belief. So that's instantly where I went with
Hmm.
it. I was like, it sounds kind of selfish. Like, you can view it as romantic. You're like, aw, he wants to just get his wife back from this terrible fate in her death. But then you're like, but this is what she asked for. I mean, maybe she didn't know what she was
Yep.
signing
And
up
and then
for,
you
but
find out like more reasons.
yeah, so
So
there's probably more to it.
it's
But
yeah.
surface level, on one hand, you're like, oh, how romantic. And then the other half is like, it's kind of a dick move because she said that's what she wants to do. So have to read the
Yep.
book to find out. Motel Sticks. Um, yeah, I guess we've done about an hour here and talked about fun books and terrible books, fun movies and terrible movies. And we had a few people
Uh,
chime in with some stuff. So I'd say all in all, that was a fun time. So are
yeah.
you on for halfway to Halloween or just the show in the fall? I don't think you're in for halfway to
Just the
Halloween,
show
are
in
you?
the fall.
Okay, I thought so. I was like, you're not in for a couple of weeks from now. Um, but we are absolutely going to have a
Yeah.
blast at the fairgrounds. I was just looking at the preliminary floor plan, just getting an idea, because Hera's Nightmare is about to drive me insane because they want to build an interactive exhibit. And I think I had to talk him down from the entire
Ooh.
warehouse. He's like, how much room is in there? That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how much room is in there because you're not going to have all of it. So we're going to get some really, really neat stuff inside of the building. Um, I'm looking forward to having tons of new authors. I love seeing brand new faces come across because then that may be somebody that's not really I say in our circle because we all run into each other at other events and we're just like, hey, familiar face, and eventually become friends. This is somebody that may
Yep.
be on the outside of that circle, on the fringes, who hasn't come into the fold, that after the event in September will join the fold and we'll all be seeing each other at craft fairs, horror cons, book festivals, and wherever else they'll have us. Really, anywhere that wants us. If you have a Chuck E. Cheese that would like to hold a horror event, we'll sign up.
Five
I'll
Nights
sit
at
there right in
Freddy's.
front of the animatronics. I'll be right there next to the Five Nights at Freddy's Ask Animatronics. You're right. Um, but it was great having you. If you're watching, or if you're watching this again later because you missed it and you didn't know it was going to be 8 o'clock, and now it's already like 9:30, and you're going shit, shit, shit. Um, hope you
That's
enjoyed.
usually me.
Yeah, but be sure to visit frightreads.com. Check out the long list and ever growing list of authors. We have some great special guests. We're featuring, we got Freddy Krueger's mom. We have Frankenhooker. I know they have names, but it's more fun because then you're like, oh, Freddy Krueger's mom. We have Rookie Rabbit from Super Troopers. Um, we have Juliet from Tromeo and Juliet, which is pretty awesome, and a handful of other announcements that are going to be coming, some of which have been locked in and I'm super excited for. So get your tickets. They're on frightreads.com. You're going to have a blast. Check out Kim's books. Follow her on Instagrams. Check out her books. Pick one up early. Get a feel for it, and then come by all of the rest of them this September. But thank you all for tuning in. And thanks, Kim, for being here. It's been a blast. We got to talk about all kinds of necrophilia, and that's what it's all really about. Thanks for
Oh my
watching.
goodness. It was good talking to you too. I won't be writing any necrophilia, guys. Sorry.
Not yet.
just maybe reading it. Not yet.